go through the questions one time so that everyone can get hold of them. And then once we are done, I will open up the session for questions for any of you that might have questions. All right, and then after the lecture, I'll send you the recording so that for those of you that were not able to attend, you can also go through and see what you can get from there. All right, so let me just share here. All right. Okay. So our first question says here, so it's just coming from unit number 1 and unit number 2. That's where most of the questions are coming from, right? So our first question says here, organizations are more efficient than individuals operating individually, therefore can produce items or provide services which individuals cannot produce alone. So this is true. Because why? Because organizations are a group of people, which means that they can do more than one person. So definitely organizations are more efficient and they can provide more services than what individuals can do. So our answer here is true, right? Organizations are more efficient than individuals, okay? Go to the next question. Says here, according to Mintzberg, 1990, breaks down a manager. Okay, sorry. Although Mintzberg 1990 breaks down a manager's role into 10 different roles, right? His focus is on the guest house, which means the hall, right? As he argues that the roles are not separable. So this is also correct, right? So although Mintzberg gives us the 10 managerial roles, right? If you read his thesis, he highlights that although each role feeds into one another, each role feeds into one another. So they are not really separable. Although there are 10 roles, they are not separated or they are not separable. They are all found within one individual. Therefore, this is true, right? The roles of a manager, the 10 different roles of a manager are not separated. They are all one thing at the end of the day. So it's true.
James, sorry to disturb you. Can I ask something?
Yes.
Say maybe when we were doing the classes or when I read my study guide, I missed this part. And now I just want to go and check what you just said now. How do I do that?
You can press Control Find on your. All right, the best way is you can go to the topic, to the specific topic that talks about managerial role and read the whole topic. Or alternatively, you can try to use your PDF, your online PDF, and try to find it within the PDF. If you search for it within the PDF, if you search for Mintzberg managerial roles or something like that in the PDF, you should be able to find it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, sure. Okay, next. All right. So according to Mintzberg 1990, decision-making in conditions of extreme ambiguity is a skill that is important for managerial work. So this is true. Decision-making in conditions of ambiguity. So this is conceptual decision-making. We are saying that a manager makes decisions within an environment, and the environment is ambiguous or it is uncertain. They do not know what the result will be. So it is a skill that a manager needs to be able to make decisions without full information. That's according to Mintzberg. So that is true. Okay. Next one here. There is this allocator role involves managers deciding on the quantity of resources each part of the departments in an organization should have. That is correct, right? So resource allocator is allocating the resources of the organization. So if the resources of the organization are money, he's saying that the marketing department will give it 10 million budget. He's saying the operations department will give them 100 million budget. The finance department will give them 20 million budget. So he is allocating resources, the quantity of resources for each part of the department that they should have at the end of the day. So it is true. Okay, next one. So it says here, in communicating information to people outside the organization, the manager is performing a disseminator role, right? A disseminator role. So he is disseminating information or distributing the information. But here it's saying outside the organization, which is incorrect. Because remember, if it's outside the organization, you are a spokesperson, right? So this is false. If it is outside the organization, you are a spokesperson. If it is inside the organization, then you are a disseminator. So this is for inside, not outside the organization. So if it's outside, it should be a spokesperson. So this one is wrong. Okay. Next one says, within new organizations, relationships of influence are emerging within vertical peerage networks. This is wrong. So if you go on the topic of new organizations, what we said is that the new relationships are horizontal. They are between people at the same level. Those are the new relationships that are happening in organizations. They are horizontal, not vertical. So this is false. Next one says, the classical theories emerged to address the organizational problems brought about by a shift from the agrarian mode to factory systems, right? So he's saying that when we shifted our economies from agriculture to factories, this is when we saw classical theories emerging, and this is correct, right? Because before, when we were doing agriculture, there were no classical theories. But when we started factories, this is when we saw Taylor coming in, and when you saw Frank and Lillian Gilbreth coming in with their motion studies. So this is what? This is true, right? The classical theories emerged when we moved from agrarian to factory setup. So this is true. Says, managerial and economic empowerment of previously disadvantaged individuals can be achieved through management training and mentorship. This is correct. You will find this statement in your study guide exactly as it is, right? Managerial empowerment of previously disadvantaged people can be achieved through management training and mentorship. Just means that if we take previously disadvantaged people and we train them to become managers and we mentor them to become managers, we have empowered them. We have empowered them. So it is true. The Gantt chart is used for scheduling. This is true. Remember when we're doing Gantt, Henry Gantt, the Gantt chart, he created the Gantt chart, which is used for scheduling. Usually it's used in project management, but it is used for scheduling. Scheduling simply means coming up with different times and different resources, how far we are going to manage the organization. Okay, so it's true. All right. For management development programs to be effective, cognitive learning should be blended with practical learning, which results from experience. This is true. So when you're developing a management development program, there are two types of learning. that you need. There are two types of learning. The first one is cognitive learning, which is the theoretical part. The second one is practical learning, which is the learning by experience. So it's cognitive and what? And practical. You need both of them. So this is true, cognitive and practical. Administrative management theory focuses on the productivity of the worker. This is false. Productivity of the worker, remember, this is scientific management. They are the ones who focus on the productivity of the worker. Administrative focuses on the organization, the productivity of the organization, right? Not of the worker, but of the organization. So scientific management is the one which focuses on the productivity of the worker. So this one is false. Okay. Criticisms of administrative theory is that it is more applicable to stable organizations and predictable environments of the past. Yes, that's a criticism that you find about the administrative theory. The proponents of the administrative theory were working under the assumption of what? Of stable organizations and predictable environments. But today we do not live in a stable environment, or we do not live in predictable environments because of chaos. That is why we introduced the what? The chaos theory, right? The systems theory and the learning theory. It's because we said that the environment is not stable. So we need to factor in the impact of the environment on the organization, right? So a criticism of the administrative theory is that it focuses on stability and predictability, which is not always correct. So this one is true. Behavioral School of Management was influenced by economic, technical, and cultural changes which were brought about as a result of the Industrial Revolution and introduction of steam. This is false. This statement is false. This is scientific. This is scientific and classical theories. These are the ones that were brought about by the Industrial Revolution and the steam power. Right, so behavioral, no, it was not brought about by that. So this statement is false. Is someone saying something? Next one, this one, I think we've done this one. Resource allocator role involves managers deciding on the quantity of resources. We say this is true, we've done this one. So there'll be some repetitions here of things that we've already done. Okay. When a manager, when an organization in this management seeks to achieve the highest possible output with the lowest possible input, this is the economic principle. If you search in a study guide, you'll find the economic principle, right? Under efficiency and effectiveness, right? It is true. If you want the economic principle, highest possible output with the lowest possible input. That's the economic principle. True. Okay. One of Frederick Taylor's principles in increasing efficiency in the workplace is to record old methods. Okay, this is wrong here. It's not old methods of performing tasks as rules and standard operating procedures. So it's supposed to be recording new methods. That's what Taylor said. We need to create new methods and record them and make them policies, right? So this becomes false because it says old methods. It's supposed to be new methods. So it becomes false. Okay, next one. In communicating information to people outside the organization, the manager is performing the disseminate. We've talked about this one. We said it's false. This should be spokesperson. Spokesperson, so it's false. Okay, let's see. Frank and Lillian Dubre's approaches included analyzing each individual action required to perform a task. This is correct. So these are the motion studies that they conducted. The motion studies, you still remember the notes, the little picture that I had there, the motion studies, analyzing each individual action to perform a task. So this is true. Managerial and economic empowerment of previously disadvantaged individuals can be done through management training and mentorship. We said this is true. We've done this one before. Two major theories which comprise classical management are scheme management and addition. This is false. Remember, classical management is divided into two. We've got what? Scientific management, and we've got what? Admin management. Those were the two types of classical: scientific management and admin management. So this one is false. This one we've done it. We said it's true, managerial empowerment. This one we've done it. We said it's false. We said that it's not behavioral. Yeah, so it's false because it is not behavioral. It is scientific. And the classical theories are the ones that were brought about by the Industrial Revolution. So this one is false. We've done it. This one, interpersonal relationships provide managers with access to information and the consequent carrying out of informational roles. And this one is, oh, it's true. Interesting. So I have a question mark on it. But for your answers, it's supposed to be true, because I'm seeing here I was marked wrong on this one. So the answer is supposed to be true here. Take note of this one. The answer is supposed to be true. I don't know why it's true, but I've got questions on it. Interpersonal relationships provide managers with access to information and the consequent carrying out of informational roles, and it's true. This one is true. Take note, is true. A Gantt chart is used in scheduling. We say that is true. Gantt chart is used in scheduling. Criticisms, predictable, stable organization. We say that this is true. Criticisms of administrative theory is that it's applicable only to stable and predictable environments. Then this one, we've done it. Frederick Taylor, principle of increasing efficiency at the workplace. We said this statement over here should be new. So this becomes false because it says old there instead of new. This one, we've done it. Done this. So we are done. Okay. Are there any questions? Any questions? If there are no questions, I'll just do a quick rundown in case you missed something. Just a quick rundown before we dismiss each other, in case you missed something. I'll just do a quick rundown in case you've missed something. So this was our first question. Organizations are more efficient than individuals, and we said that it is true. Organizations are more efficient than individuals. Then second question, we said, although Mintzberg breakdowns managerial work into 10 different roles, they are not separable. And we said that this is true, right? They are not separable. And then this one, According to Mintzberg, decision-making is done under conditions of extreme ambiguity, and this is a skill that is needed in management. We say that this is true. And then we go to resource allocator role, involves deciding on the quantity of resources in each department. We say that this is true. And they said in communicating information outside the organization, you are performing disseminator role, and we said that this is false because it's spokesperson. So this is false. And we said within new organizations, relationships of influence are emerging within vertical peerage, and we said this is wrong. It's supposed to be what? Horizontal peerage. So it's false. And then we said classical theories emerged from addressing problems brought about by the agrarian shift to factory. And we said that this is true. Managerial and economic empowerment of previously disadvantaged people through training and mentorship. We say that this is true. Gantt chart is used for production scheduling. We say that this is true. For development management programs to be effective, we said it should include both cognitive learning and practical learning. This is true. Administrative theory focuses on the productivity of the worker. We say this is wrong. Administrative focuses on productivity of organizations. So it's false. Criticisms of administrative theory is applicable for stable and predictable environments. We say that this is true. Behavioral School of Management was influenced by the Industrial Revolution and steam power. We said it's false. It's not behavioral. It's supposed to be scientific. Resource allocator role, we say that this is true. When an organization seeks to achieve the highest possible output with the lowest possible input economic principle, this is correct. This is true. This one we said false because of the issue of the old methods. It's supposed to be new methods for Frederick Taylor, not old. This one we said false. Disseminator is supposed to be spokesperson. Franklin and Lillian Gilbreth are individual action required to perform a task. We say this is true. These are the motion studies that they conducted. Empowerment, we said true. Two major theories in classical management say that this is false because the two major theories are supposed to be scientific and administrative. So this is false. Any more questions here? And then this last one, interpersonal relationships provide managers with access to information and consequently carry informational roles. We say that this is true. This one is true. This one is true. So those are all the questions that I managed to get. I think that's the majority of them. If I missed anything, maybe it's just one or two questions. You can post them in the group if there's any other extra questions that we might not have attended to. Okay, so someone says, yeah, what about the one with the question mark? If the institute realizes that they were wrong, will they come back and remark? It's very rare. It's very rare. It's very rare for them to come back and remark. They might correct it, but it might just come. Or the other thing is, I might also be wrong myself. I might be thinking I was correct, but I might also be wrong myself. So you never know what it is. But the correct answer is true for that one. Please take note. I was marked wrong. The answer that I put myself was marked wrong. So the correct answer should be true because I'd said false on that one, on the one that had question marks on it. But I believe we've done all of the questions. Again, I encourage you guys, as soon as we are done like this one, log into your Mancosa, do your KCQ if it's not already done. If it's already done, you can do a second attempt. If you're not worried about the second attempt, it's not mandatory. I see a lot of you are asking me, it is not mandatory to do a second attempt. It's just that I would prefer you guys to do the second attempt so that at least you also have a feel of how the system works. Because remember, this is not your only semester. Next semester, you will need to do this. In next year, you need to do KCQs and whatnot. So at least it helps you to get a feel of how to do it yourself at the end of the day. So if you can, please make your second attempt. If you can't, it's still fine with me, no problem. But as long as there's at least one attempt, whether it's you who did the attempt or it's me who did the attempt, doesn't matter. Let's just make sure that at least we are covered in terms of the assignments. We still have got a lot of time. They are due, I think, 15 May. So we still have time to do, even if they are not yet done, we still have time to do. So if you can't manage to do your KCQs, please make sure that you get hold of me so that within this coming week and weekend, I make sure that your KCQs are done if you are not managing to do them on your on your end. But I believe these lessons will help you to make sure that you get a very, very good mark, because we want you to get at least 90 or 100% on your KCQs. So tomorrow, I believe you are going to be doing informatics with Tino for those that are doing ITM. I believe you're going to be doing public admin KCQ with Fortune for those that are doing public admin. And then on Thursday, I believe there's digital transformation KCQ that needs to be done. Okay, so I believe everything is in order. I don't know if there are any questions before we dismiss each other.
I'll see you on Thursday.
Sure.